Hello, it's Kelly from Myofascial and Sports Therapy. I thought I'd put together a little Yin Yoga program that you might be able to use tonight before you go to bed. This is day one of lockdown in Melbourne for the third time, and everybody reacts quite differently. Some people might be stressed, a lot of anxiety, so I thought I'd just try and put something together that might help you out. So not everybody has props that you need for yoga, but what you can use, so I have a bolster. If you don't have one, which most people don't, you can use a foam roller or some pillows, totally fine. Blocks, but you can use a rolled up towel or some small cushions or pillows. So if you don't have those, just maybe pause, go grab them and come back. So to start with, now you might like to put your own music on throughout this time in the background. So for the first pose, we're going to, now you can use a bolster, a pillow, a foam roller, it all works the same. Pop them under the knees, and this is for the back. So with Yin Yoga, we're working on the fascia of the body, not the muscles. So the muscles need to be totally relaxed, and we're holding poses for a little bit of time. So get yourself nice and comfortable on the floor, just letting the knees drop out a little bit and starting to fold forward. Now you might find you might need to do little adjustments, finding that you're getting tensions or sensations elsewhere. It can be quite subtle through the back, but you will still be getting a difference, a change through the back. So folding yourself forward. Now you can, if you have other props, you might like to put something under your head, you can just let it hang down. So once you find your position, just taking a big breath in, and as you breathe out, relax the body, relax the muscles, try and get the sit bones nice and even, and just folding forward. And just relaxing into that position. Now when you're here, you might like to focus on the sensations or where you're feeling the tension, or you might like to focus on your breathing, or if you're listening to music. But we're only ever going to the very first point of stretch. We're not going to end range. So just settle down into that position. And if you start to lose that stretch sensation, you might just fold forward a little more or make slight adjustments so that you can feel that stretch again. So this pose is called butterfly for interest. And taking a big breath in and breathing it all out, and very slowly bringing yourself back up out of that position. Now we're going to move whatever we have away, and now we're going to stretch through the front of the spine. So we're going to lay down. Now if you've got a pillow, blocks, you don't have to use anything depending on how your back is, depending on what size you've got or how much range you have. So laying down on your back, bending your knees up and lifting your glutes up and placing, it might be the pillow or block, whatever size is best for you. This is going just underneath the sacrum. Now, if you do have back issues, you can just take the arms up overhead, But if it's available to you, you can straighten those legs out. So we're looking for a nice stretch through the abdomen from the pelvis up. You might find if you've got a lot of tension down in the hip area that you'll start to get a bit of relaxation through here. You can keep your arms down or take them up overhead. You can close your eyes down if you like. So Yin Yoga is all about the fascia, working with the fascia. And if you're not sure what that is, think of a spider web. And that spider web's underneath the skin and covering everything in the body. So from the tips of your toes to the crown of your head. So if we're thinking like that, then everything is connected. They're not isolated like the muscles. So just sink into the pose. You might find that you're quite tense to start with. It might be through your breathing that you just try and relax down into that position. And if you're losing the stretch, you might stretch those arms out a bit further. Just make sure that you're keeping your back, you're not lifting too far off the ground. And taking a big breath in, breathing it all out. First, bringing your arms back very slowly, one at a time, bending those knees. And when you're ready, lifting the pelvis up and shifting out any block or pillow that you've got underneath. Then you might need a little bit of space for this one. So we're going to move into twisted roots to get a stretch, rotation through the spine. So starting in a T position, so legs and arms out. We're going to bend that right knee up and rolling over to the left hand side. So you might like to start using your hand on your knee and rolling. So you might need to place something underneath. Might be a pillow, might tuck your foot just under the calf or take that foot over in front. We want to aim to keep the shoulders down on the ground, and you can turn your head to the right hand side if it's available to you. So we're looking for rotation through the spine. So every few breaths, try and as you breathe out, just sink down. See if you get a little more rotation. So that's why we sometimes need that block so that we're not holding this leg. If it's too much, you can just stack your knees together. And just softening towards the floor. And taking a big breath in, breathing it all out. And slowly bringing yourself back into neutral, straightening those legs out again, taking a moment, and then when you're ready, bending that left knee up and rolling over to the right hand side. So if you need, bring those knees together. You might take that foot across. It doesn't need to be up and jammed. If you're feeling jamming in the hip, just straighten that leg out a bit. Aiming to keep those shoulder blades on the floor. And turning back to the left if it's available. You don't need to, you can stay to the right. and softening down and seeing if you can get a little more rotation. Taking a big breath in, and as you breathe out you can bring yourself back into the center, straightening those legs out, bringing the arms down. And we're going to come upright, so bending those knees up, roll to your preferred side and bring yourself up. We're going to come up onto our knees and come down. If you prefer a child's pose, you can do that, or into a melting heart. So bending those knees and coming back. Now you can stretch your arms out if you've got something you can put underneath. It just gives a nice stretch coming down into the arms. If that's not comfortable, you can place your hands on the ground. You can soften your head down and just sink down and relax. So if your option is child's pose, you can pop your arms by your side and just turn your head to one side. But sometimes we can get a stretch through the back, but also getting a stretch through those arms. That out of the way, anything you've got in front, and we're going to stretch through that lower back area. So we're going to take our hands to the right hand side so that we're getting a stretch from the pelvis through that fascia all the way up into the lats and into the arms. You might feel it at a different point, but it just gives a nice stretch through that whole side of the body. Make sure as you're breathing out that you're just relaxing down and sinking. Try not to tense those muscles up and hold yourself, but just relaxing down towards the floor. It's quite natural that you might feel it in other areas of the body. On an out breath, slowly bringing yourself back into the center. You can take a moment here, and when you're ready, take those hands out to the left hand side. So we're getting a stretch right through here. You might feel it at different points. You might feel it lower, it could be higher. And if this isn't so comfortable, you can, if you're jamming in the hips, you can come up onto those knees and move to the side, and you'll still get the stretch. So we're not about being in rigid postures, it's about finding what's best for your body and what your body needs right now. And taking a big breath in. As you breathe out, you can come back to the center and take a moment. And coming up onto the knees. And to finish, we'll move into a rebound. So you might prefer to lay down on your back and just resting your hands where they're comfortable. If you've got a pillow, you might like to place that under your knees, just take the pressure out. Just laying down, closing your eyes if that's okay for you. And just letting the body have a little bit of a relax. And taking 3 big breaths in and out in your own time. And then when you're ready, you can bring yourself back up into a seated position. So thank you for joining me, and I hope this helps you have a nice restful sleep